Is the United States headed towards trouble? No. The United States is headed towards a disaster, and this disaster is coming very soon. Today I'm going to explain what's going on, why there's so many issues that are facing the American people right now here in the United States. Guess what? This is not all because of us. It's a lot of having to do with Congress, the Federal Reserve, the people that we put in charge. So today we're going to address what some of these problems are and what you could potentially be facing very soon. All I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's begin. So first off, I'm shooting this. It is just after 5. It's 5:04 a.m. and it's early. I've already been up for a couple hours doing a bunch of research, trying to figure out my own stuff, my own personal stuff. Now, one thing I want to do is address what is coming. And the reason why I want to do this is because everybody deserves to know that what we could experience over the next few weeks or potential few months, this could be devastating. This could wipe out any of your savings. This could hurt millions and millions of people. So here's what's happening. First thing, which is something that we are going to be discussing multiple times today, is a potential government shutdown. Everyone thought that the government's not going to shut down, Congress would not do this. But I've been telling you for a little while that Congress doesn't have the ability to pass any bill that they want because Congress is divided. They got a Republican House, a Democratic Senate, and even in the House, not all Republicans are going to vote with Speaker Kevin McCarthy. That's a problem. They're not going to get any bill that they want done. Well, as of 11:59 p.m. tonight, the U.S. government would shut down. Okay? As soon as the clock ticks over, and it is October 1st, so 12 a.m. on October 1st, the U.S. government will likely shut down unless Congress can get a deal done today. However, that looks very unlikely. Now, I want to show you this. It says Congress tees up votes in last-minute scramble to avert a shutdown. However, it's very unlikely that they get this done because, again, Congress, yes, in the House of Representatives, maybe they do want to get something done. That's great. But if they don't have the votes in the House and it's not the bill that the Senate wants to get passed, then there's a good chance then we are going to see a shutdown. Well, here's what I can tell you. And it says right here, one of the key points from CNBC, it says lawmakers returned to Congress on Saturday. They didn't go on recess. They canceled their recess. Okay? With no clear path to resolving a squabble that appears likely to close wide swaths of the federal government. It goes on to say, on the other side of the Capitol, the Democratic-controlled Senate is due to advance a stopgap funding bill, but a final vote might not come for days. That's what we're hearing. So just know that the federal government could potentially shut down for a few days. It might only be till Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but they still could shut down until the Senate puts something together that potentially the House would vote for. As of right now, the House of Representatives has no, they don't care to put a Democratic bill on the floor. They don't want to do it because Republicans are telling Speaker Kevin McCarthy, you put a Democratic bill on the floor of the House, which is controlled by a Republican, we're going to oust you as a speaker. So again, major problems there. Now that's just one issue though. We have other issues that are likely going to hit the American people very soon. Now, one thing I can tell you is if the federal government shuts down, this next issue doesn't really become an issue because we are going to see demand shrink. And that actually has to do with gas. Oil prices right now are pushing, they're at $90, but there's some upward pressure to get them to $100 a barrel. Now, one thing I can tell you is if we get oil to $100 per barrel, let me show you this chart really quick. Here it is. So if we get oil to $100 a barrel, which right now it's at 90 dollars, or $91. If we get that, okay, and this was 4 days ago, it got to $94. If we get oil to $100 a barrel, there's a good chance that Saudi Arabia actually ends its the oil output. Right now, they're cutting it by 300,000 barrels of oil per day, but they've actually gone up by over 1 million. And so they could actually end this, which would mean there's more supply. And if demand shrinks and supply actually increases, guess what? Prices of gas are going to go down. So that's good news there. But again, that's just one of the things that's happening. And this is one of the potential crises that we are facing, is what if the government doesn't shut down, demand stays high, supply stays where it is currently at, oil prices will be up over $100 a barrel. So that's a problem right there. Here's the next one. And it actually has to do with the United Auto Workers. It's a strike. One of the biggest issues that people are facing right now is they don't want to feel like they're being taken advantage of. They want to make sure that they're being compensated for the jobs that they're doing. They are being compensated if they are not doing something that is perfectly safe. And, well, the United Auto Workers are right there with you. They've been fighting for this new agreement for a while. Right now, according to the most recent report, this strike with the United Auto Workers, which started on September 15th, this costs the U.S. economy over $1.6 billion in just 1 week. Currently, there's about 15,000 union members that are on strike, but as of yesterday, there's actually another 7,000 union members that joined. They left their jobs at Ford, the Ford plant in Chicago, and General Motors assembly factory near Lansing, Michigan. They did this yesterday on Friday. So the United Auto Workers, they're actually asking for a big wage increase. Last I heard, they'd be okay with about 25 to 30% wage increase. However, if we see that much of a wage increase, it's likely going to reflect the prices of vehicles. And we don't know if the American people can actually afford that. So that's part of the issue there. Now, that is just one strike. And here's something else that I think a lot of people don't realize, is that a strike of any kind is going to hurt the United States. It's going to hurt us, substantially. Well, here's another one. Look at this. It says 7,000 healthcare workers are set to go on strike, and here are the 5 states that could be impacted. Well, I'm not going to go through the exact states, but it's actually from Kaiser Permanente. 75,000 healthcare workers could go on strike. Okay, that the states that are going to feel the biggest impact: California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, and Virginia, as well as Washington, D.C. Now, one thing I can tell you is, again, that is just one strike. And again, they're negotiating on behalf of about 40% of the Kaiser's workforce. But here's another one. Look at this one. Las Vegas hospitality workers vote to authorize a strike. Okay? Now, one thing I can tell you about this one is they're going to authorize a strike that is against 22 casino resorts. Okay? Now, that's the MGM Grand that's mostly going to be impacted. But that's 60,000 workers in Nevada. 60,000. Okay? Something else I want to read to you. Let me find it really quick. Right here says, if the hospitality workers proceed with the strike, it would be their first in more than 4 decades. The last time they did it, the Culinary Union walked out in 1991. 500 workers from the Frontier Casino spent more than 6 years on strike, eventually resulting in a contract. And a larger strike in 1984 involved more than 17,000 workers from 32 resorts along the Las Vegas Strip. So this isn't the first time we've seen a strike. But what I can tell you is that if we see a strike from the hospitality workers, it's going to not kill travel to Las Vegas, but it's definitely going to hurt. And it's going to hurt certain casinos more than others. Another thing that is happening right now that is definitely headed for a disaster is the student loan payments restart tomorrow. Yeah. Today's September 30th. Tomorrow is October 1st. That is when the payments restart. So more than 44 million Americans are going to have to start paying their roughly $400 per month average payment. Now, according to a recent report by the Oxford Economics, they say that consumer spending could fall by about $9 billion each month that these payments have to resume. Now, I can also tell you that as of right now, the Biden administration has made it acceptable that you do not have to make a payment. You can wait a full year, one full year, and then start payments in October of 2024. So, we'll see what happens there. The last thing that is going to cause massive panic is right now, if the U.S. government does shut down, that means we will not get the new CPI report. Okay? We won't know what inflation is for the month of September when the report is supposed to come out on October 12th. Well, one of the agencies, or the Federal Reserve, that uses this data, they will not get that data. They won't have it. They won't have the information that they need to go and make a decision as to whether or not they increase interest rates, do they pause interest rates again, or do they start to lower rates. They're not going to get any of that information. So the Federal Reserve is pretty much going to have to operate blindly if they decide to raise rates very soon. Now, one of the things that is heavily impacted is housing. Right now, mortgage rates are very close to 8% for the annual or for the 30-year fixed rate loan. That is a problem. And the reason why this is a problem is because in this article, okay, let me read this to you. It says higher rates are make buying a home even more unaffordable after years of soaring prices. The average monthly principal and interest payment for borrowers hit $2,306 in July, the highest on record according to Black Knight, a real estate analytics firm. That's up 60% from 2 years ago. Nearly 25% of July homebuyers have monthly payments of at least $3,000 per Black Knight, up from just 5% in 2021. More than 50% of homebuyers pay at least $2,000 per month. Now, why does this matter? Because somebody asked me this the other day. Why would it matter if mortgage rates are at 8%? There's not that many people buying. And if there's not that many people buying, then again, how does this impact us? Well, is it because home prices keep going up? No, not really. Is it because mortgage rates go up? No, not really. Are banks making more money? No, they're not doing that either. The reason why this is impacting the entire economy is because think of this. Let's say 2 years ago, you had a mortgage payment of $1,500 and you decided to sell your house. You decided to sell your house because you wanted to make sure that you could lock in any capital gains, right? You wanted to make sure that anything that you could pull out of it, you did. So you sold your house, made a little bit of extra money, but then you spent that money. You spent that money over the past 2 years. Now it's time to get a new house. And you are buying a house that's overpriced. Again, prices keep going up, but at the same time, interest rates are close to 8%. So instead of $1,500 now, you buy a very similar size house. You don't get any equity in it, and instead you're paying $2,400. That additional $900 per month that you are paying, that takes it out of the economy. Because now you're paying that to the bank. You're not paying that for food. You're not paying that for services, for let's say you want to travel. You're not doing that and spreading the money around. You're paying the bank. That's it. That is part of the problem. That's the reason why some economists say that if mortgage rates get over 8%, for one, that's really going to crush the economy. But number two, we're going to see millions of people go out there and think, well, prices keep going up. I need to buy. And as they do, it's going to hurt them even more. So, again, we are headed for a disaster. And unfortunately, it's all going to happen around the same month. The month is October of 2023. That is tomorrow. So just understand what's going on here. But as soon as we get more information, as soon as I know exactly what is going on within Congress and whether or not we are going for a government shutdown, I will let you know. So make sure you come on back. All you got to do is two things. Hit the like button on this video. Click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I will see you guys on the next one.